Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. This time the topic is cameo appearances. You know, if you're on Instagram and if you're on Facebook, or even if you're in the community, sometimes you hear a lot about cameo appearances. First appearance or first cameo appearances of certain characters. I would say most of these first cameo appearances of certain characters are a lot less than the first full appearance. Some, oddly enough, are a little bit more. So I just grabbed some books in my collection that were in arm's reach, because I don't like to go digging too much into the long boxes. I try to go through some of the special stock. And I pulled out some books that are cameo appearances of first cameo appearances of some characters. So we'll start off with this one, X Factor 5. This is the first cameo appearance of Apocalypse. He showed up, I haven't opened this one in a while, but I remember I think he showed up on the very last page, and a lot of the character was blackened out, but you could see his eyes, and I think he's holding up his fist and he's saying something. So it was considered a cameo appearance. And then, of course, X Factor 6, his face is on the cover and you see him throughout the whole book. This cameo appearance usually goes for a lot less than his first full appearance. His first full appearance goes for a lot less. The only time that this book and the first full appearance was commanding some money, I don't want to say it was commanding serious money because it certainly wasn't, but was commanding some money is when the movie, when he was announced after Days of Future Past and right up before X-Men Apocalypse, the movie. So there's one. Here's another that's a cameo. Okay, now it's not a first cameo appearance. It's not one of those, but it is still a cameo. It's a second appearance, a second cameo appearance, and it is Amazing Spider-Man 134. This is the second cameo appearance of the Punisher. He shows up at the very end and very last panel holding a gun to Spider-Man, who's on the floor after his battle with the tarantula. So, and he made his second full appearance in 135. It doesn't do this one again. It's not very expensive. The 135 tends to go for more money. This is also the first appearance of the tarantula. So it has that going for it, but I think sometimes, though, with this particular book, it's left out that it's the second cameo appearance of the Punisher. More people, when it comes to the Punisher and his second appearance, people tend to go for the 135. And I can understand why. Here's another one. Now, we're going back to first cameo appearance. Here is the Avengers 195. This is the first cameo appearance of the Taskmaster, who's supposed to be one of the baddies in the upcoming Black Widow movie that comes out, I think, a couple months from now. Okay. We all are familiar with the 196 with the Taskmasters on the cover and all that. That's the one that commands a lot of money because it's his first full appearance. And this one, not so much. I don't even know what this one really goes for nowadays. From what I remember, it was, less, a lot less than 196. But here's another example of a first cameo appearance. Here's one that's a cameo appearance, but this one tends to get more money than the first full appearance. Here we have Batman 655. This is the first cameo appearance of Damian Wayne. It's only a cameo. It really is. You barely see him. And it's not until the next issue where you see more of him. But this one tends to go for a little bit more money than the 656. And the Andy Kubert variant of this goes for, I think it's Andy Kubert, right? If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. Goes for a lot more than this, okay? But again, another example of something that's more of a cameo than an actual full appearance. Sticking with that, we go to Amazing Spider-Man 360. Now, I know Cletus Cassidy showed up previously, before this book, before 360. So you could say that there's a cameo of Cletus Cassidy. But as Carnage, he showed up as a cameo, his first cameo appearance in this book toward the end. I think it was toward the end, right? I mean, again, some of these I haven't cracked open in years. But I think it was in this one where you saw Carnage's part of his face, and he put his hand to some guy's mouth and suffocated him by covering his mouth with the alien symbiote, and it went up his nose and all that sort of stuff, and the guy's eyes went back of his head. That was pretty much a cameo. I believe that's how the cameo ended in this one. Regardless, it's considered a first cameo appearance. And again, goes for less money. You know, that's the way it usually is with these first cameo appearances. Here's another one. Again, same story. Conan the Barbarian 23. This is the first cameo appearance of Red Sonja. Again, another one that doesn't go for as much as the 24. And the 20. And I think the reason why for that one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I don't know why this is called it's a cameo. I think you see a decent amount of Red Sonja, unlike some of the other books that appear that were characters shown in shadows. I think this one, and it goes for less than 24. I think it goes for less because of the cover. Now the cover's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with the cover, but I think 24, the cover is better than this. You know, I think that's universally accepted. And sometimes when a book has a really bad cover or not such a great cover, it goes for less than perhaps another appearance. And I think that's usually the case with The Scarecrow. World's Finest 3 is an expensive book. It's his first appearance. It's not a cameo. But his second appearance, I think, goes for a lot more. Like I said in one of my other videos, collecting second appearances, 9 times out of 10, obviously the first appearance goes for a lot more than the second appearance. But I think that's different when it comes between the World's Finest 3 and the Detective 73. Anyway, I digress. Here we have 2 books here. Cameos, first cameos. One of those, where you have cameos across 2 books. Ms. Marvel 16 and Ms. Marvel 17. These are the first cameos of Mystique. Okay? So, not considered her full appearance. Numbers 16 and 17, I don't think they go for as much as 18, which is her first full appearance, last time I checked. But again, another example of cameo appearances. Now, like the Ms. Marvel 16 and 17, with 2 first cameo appearances, I will show you 2 more like that. The Amazing Spider-Man 298 and the 299. They almost look identical, you know, with the white cover and Chance on the cover. I mean, you know, obviously they're not identical, but they sort of almost trick you into thinking it's almost the same issue. Anyway, both of these books, you know, people are interested in them because it's the first cameo appearances of Venom, and I think it was done very well in the 298. Which one's that right here? I think at the end of the book you see somebody speaking who turns out to be Venom. And he's like, you know, slamming his hands together or something like that. And then you see the black symbiote start covering his hands. And it's not until the end of this issue where you see Venom confront Mary Jane. And she thinks it's Spider-Man because he's wearing the black costume until he smiles. See that grin at the end, which was a really cool way to introduce. But you do see him, I think, in the last panel, a full shot of him. But it's still considered a cameo. It's a good one, but it's still considered a cameo. A few more here. Here's another one. Getting back to Conan. This is a cameo. Cameo for the first cameo appearance of Kull the Conqueror. Kull the Conqueror was created before Conan. I'm not quite sure when. Definitely before 1932. when he appeared. I think he appeared in. Did he appear in a Weird Tales? I don't really know too much about Kull the Conqueror. I know a little bit more about Conan. But anyway, Kull the Conqueror also shows up in this in Cameo. So it's considered the first cameo appearance of Kull the Conqueror in comics. Okay? And the first appearance of Conan in comics. Last two. Here we have another example of where the cameo first appearance goes for more than the first full appearance. And it really is a cameo. It's barely a cameo. And I think maybe you're already starting to figure out which book I'm talking about. But if you haven't, here we have it. Jimmy Olsen 134. The first cameo appearance of Darkseid. There's, with some of the books I've showed, there's talk of, is it really just a cameo? Is it, you see the character, you see a full shot of the character, so is that really considered a cameo? There's always arguments about that. But I don't think anybody could argue about this one. This one, you just see his head on a monitor. You don't see his full body, you don't see anything. You don't even see the background behind him. It really is just a cameo of him. But, like I said earlier, oddly enough, this one goes for more money than his first full appearance, which was in Forever People #1. And the last one, I think this is a very well-known cameo. And again, there's a lot of debate about it. Is it his first cameo? Is it really a cameo? You see a full shot of him. How could this be considered a cameo? Whatever. The Incredible Hulk 180. The first cameo appearance of Wolverine. I remember when I was collecting those Marvel Masterpiece cards, and they showed on the back of the Wolverine card. Of course they got to show his first cover appearance, which was 181. But you see the first appearance, it says 180, and it's considered that this is his first appearance, but it doesn't go for nearly as much as the 181. I mean, this one's not cheap. It's not going to cost you $50, and neither is the Jimmy Olsen 134. This 134 is not super expensive. I have an 8.0 copy, so it commands a little bit more. My copy right here, this is a 6.0. This is not as much as some of the higher grades, but still significantly pricey. It's going to cost you probably several $100s, but nowhere near a 6.0 copy of Incredible Hulk 181. That one probably cost you $2,000. So, cool to have. I know there's a lot of controversy about, is this really a cameo? It's his first appearance. A lot of people on Facebook argue back and forth. I really couldn't care less. Do what ETA Nick does. Get both. Well, that's it for cameo appearances. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you could think of some other cameo first appearances or even cameo second appearances, leave them in comments. I think I covered some of the more important ones, or at least the ones that are in my collection. Take care, everyone.